We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And when it's green, you know what time it is. I am Hamilton Mike Galetta along with my partner, Dave Cartwright. And yes, this is Teeing Off. We're back for another unforgettable season. Dave, what is up?
Mike, happy New Year. Happy spring, kind of a couple weeks away here, and happy golf season. So I'm looking forward to having the show back and talking some golf. So all good here.
Yep, absolutely. Going to be a good time. Definitely want to throw a big shout out to our boys over at CrowdPlay. Make sure you are signing up with code THEBOX. You get 10 free points. You're going to need them. It's a very interesting game. It's tough, but it's definitely fun. And for our newest sponsor, Showcase Sports here in Hamilton, New Jersey, where we live, for the elite athlete, go over there, talk to them. They'll hook you up. And of course, Dave Birnbaum, buy, sell, or rent with Dave in the RE/MAX community. So let me throw the odds up, because we are going to be talking about the Arnold Palmer coming up, and we're also going to talk about the WGC. But first, we'll get to the main topic here since we are back. That's right, folks. Dave is a daddy. Dave and his wife gave birth to a little boy. Finally, I know you guys were waiting a long time for this, a little bit past the due date, but he's home. He's doing well. He's a week old. Dave, how's the sleep coming?
It's great. It's thank you I appreciate it. He's happy, healthy baby. He was a big boy, 9 pounds, 9 ounces. So yeah. He's doing great. He's, torturing his mom and dad already. So it's been fantastic. And we love every second of it. So we're home. It's all good.
Wait till he's a teenager. So I'm
right,
waiting for
exactly.
But no, from the Sports Box family, I'm sure I can speak for everybody saying we're happy for you guys. We're, congratulatory, and you guys are going to be great parents, and I can't wait to see him grow up. So,
yep. No, we appreciate that. And welcome Caden Cartwright to the world. So,
yep. So there you go. So let's get to it, folks. We are back. Another season of Teeing Off. Going to talk all your golf needs. Please light up the comment board. We'd love to hear your comments. Love to hear what you're talking about. We'll talk anything and everything. We'll get to a story that happened last week. If you haven't heard about it, you've been under a rock for the last week. It's been all over the news 24/7, 7 days a week. Tiger Woods involved in a single car accident in suburban LA. Tiger got hurt pretty bad. He broke his tibia and fibula in his right leg and shattered his ankle. I heard, at least I saw a rod was inserted in his tibia, and obviously surgeries have to be done. So Dave, do you know any more about the whole incident or anything?
I don't. Obviously, it was a single car crash. He was actually on the way to a shoot. He was on the way to a local country club. He was obviously at the Genesis Invitational as the host there. Obviously wasn't playing because of his back surgery. Was at was a host there, so staying in LA and on his way to a shoot. I think with I forget who it was, but anyway, through Oprah Winfrey set it up, and it was going to be featured in Golf Digest, I think, over the summer. So single car, and fortunate, just sounds like it was an accident. It's just part of the road. I think obviously in the big picture now, I think golf is in the back burner, and it's just a question of him getting back to health. Does he ever pick up a golf club again? I think it's just too early to tell. So that's unfortunate. It sounds like in the grand scheme of things, he was lucky to survive the crash. So
yeah, had his seatbelt on. Like you said, I think he was leaving the Genesis. He had either I don't want to say a rental car, but I think he had just a courtesy car or something to that
exactly.
in a way from the Genesis. What I find interesting, and I put at the bottom here, the black box, and I didn't even know they had these in certain cars, but the black box actually shows steering patterns, braking. Did he accelerate? Did he not accelerate? This and that. And I don't know why it would be in his car. Maybe in courtesy cars, they have to have in there almost like a GPS. But that was not recovered yet. Supposedly a sheriff got a subpoena to get the black box to take a look at it. But it's kind of weird. It's been a week now, and they still don't have the black box. So stay tuned for that. More to come on that. That should be interesting. I'd like to find out what happened. I mean, I don't know. And obviously, I don't want to accuse Tiger of being on any kind of medication or things like that. First time I saw the accident, first thing I thought it was his back. And I said, oh, if he broke his back or did any kind of damage to his back after surgery, I mean, coming from back surgery, not like him, but that could be horrific. I mean, that could really, really hamper him.
Sure, absolutely.
But like you said, it's early to say. I think he'll play again, but I don't know if he'll play at this level. I don't. You know, it's going to be.
Listen, he had a 45-year-old. You know, he's 45 years old. He's certainly had his wear and tear on his body already, and this, just added, sort of another surgery. I forget he's had 20 surgeries, something outrageous at 45 years old. So he's certainly been through the ringer with his body, but more importantly, hopefully he's safe. He has two young kids at home. His last event, ironically, I'm not saying he's never going to play again, but was with his son at the father the father-son invitational in Florida back in, I believe it was December. So, looking back at if that's his last round, I'm sure he's thankful he was able to do that. So,
and he came back last year to win the Masters. So that's something he can definitely take to the bank as well. So we wish Tiger all the best. He's great for golf. I know the PGA's praying for him to come back, but we'll see how that goes. So in other news, Dave, last week, your boy, I say your boy because you picked him in a lot of events when we were on it. Colin Morikawa wins the 2021 WGC Workday Championship at the Concession. So, he started off at a 70, and I knew he'd make the cut. I mean, he had to play good the second day to really make the cut. But to his credit, he battled back in the second round, really made some shots when it mattered. And the last day, 69, but still, tore it up third day, 67. I mean, he's steady as a rock again when he wins.
Yeah, I was just reading an article actually. Speaking of Tiger Woods, so he's obviously won a major, the PGA Championship last year, and he's won the WGC. So 24 years old. There's been 24 other people that have done a WGC in a major. So again, elite company already, but he is the only person under 25 years old, him and Tiger Woods, to win a WGC in a major. So. That speaks volumes right there. And I would say that this kid, he's a kid. He's 25 years old, I believe, or 24, but he's not done. He is far from done. So it's you're probably talking 5 or 6 majors, almost a Jordan Spieth career. And Jordan Spieth again, he's still in the prime of his career, but he is not finished. And listen, the guy, he had the lead in the final round, and there was never really any points. I remember I was watching the coverage, and he drove it left into the bunker off the first tee, then put in the greenside bunker, hit a great bunker shot to about 10 feet and got up and down for par. And at that point, you just never at any point did you think that he was going to, lose a lead or even lose a golf tournament. So he's sort of wise beyond his years at this point. So great player, does everything well, not really weakness of his game. Statistically, his shots to the green, approach to the greens are his strength, his iron play, but doesn't do anything spectacular, but good in almost every category. So,
yeah, we saw him last year in the major, and I remember talking about it extensively with you that I think it was number 17. He drove that ball over the corner woods and put that on that par 4 right up there, and steady as a rock knocked it in for eagle. And I was just blown away because at that point he was chasing the leader, if not tied with the leader. And to get up there and make a shot like that, just to go up over the corner of the trees when you don't have to, and put it away, it was unbelievable to me. And that's the kind of guy he is. He's a little reckless and aggressive, but see, I like that in a golfer. I like a guy who takes chances. That's what you got to do nowadays. You got to take chances on the golf course.
Yeah, he's just, more importantly, I think he's not afraid to play with a lead or to win a golf tournament. The guys, he was a collegiate winner. Again, you look at along those lines, Victor Hovland, who was second place. Again, he's 2 years out of college. These guys are just, check every other sport. They're coming out of college more prepared physically, mentally, to play professionally, than they ever have. And these guys, it's, are at 21, 22 years old. You would say, oh, they need 3 or 4 years experience on the tour. But they don't anymore. They're proven winners coming out of college and have all the tools to do it. So,
yeah. So obviously Morikawa, more to come for him. Pardon the pun. I think we're going to talk about him more and more in the upcoming events. Definitely a guy to look at in your DraftKings lineup. You're putting it together. Another guy to look at that I like so far this year and liked a little bit towards last year, Victor Hovland. And Victor Hovland is striking the ball well. Another young gun for the PGA, and listen, he's up there top 10 every week, steady as she goes. Victor Hovland.
He is, again, second place, big time. But he won the Mayakoba Classic, I believe, last year. So he's on tour run, but there's only, I think, a second or third year on tour. So Norwegian kid. He played for Oklahoma State. Again, just proven winner in college. Has all the tools. Him, kind of Matthew Wolff and Colin Morikawa are same age, kind of same draft class per se, whatever you want to call it, out of college. And again, you'll probably see 10 to 12 majors out of these guys, 30 to 40 tour PGA Tour wins, when it's all said and done. So we got a career ahead for all three of these guys for sure.
Yeah. Number 3 to look at that I'm actually happy to see him up there is Brooks Koepka. I mean, your opinion, do you think he's over the injury of last year and he's ready to start off, fresh? And again, this guy's a major beast, and really the other tournaments are just kind of warm-ups for him. He really gets ready for all the majors on this tour. But do you think Brooks Koepka can really beat the injury bug this year and stay healthy from last year?
It's a good question, and I don't necessarily know because, again, it was the knee last year, which he had surgery that was out for a month or so. I'm sure you saw some of the coverage, but he had a neck issue that was sort of spine. So again, I just think he works so hard off the golf course with his physical. With his body, that almost like Tiger Woods, I think he's going to be prone to injury. It's not necessarily on the golf course, more off the golf course. And I think it's, he's just an animal, and he works out almost too hard. And, maybe down the road, you look in hindsight's 2020, Tiger was the first guy to really hit the gym. And as Brooks done that same, category where he's, 35, 40 years old, had 20 surgeries, and, he's at the latter part of his career. That being said, the guy is he's a proven winner. He loves the big events. If he stays healthy, you're looking at 4 or 5 more majors, so it just depends if he stays healthy or not, to your point.
I agree. And to those out there, I wouldn't say new to golf, but know that in golf, especially on tour, that these guys are swinging so fast and twisting their body and twerking that body so much. It's almost like you're a linebacker in football. I mean, you're just beating your body up. It's just a slow burn, other than a football player taking that big hit and maybe getting knocked down for the count. With golf, I mean, you're swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, and it just breaks you down over a while. It's just a matter of, when it's gonna break you down. But
Great. No, you're absolutely right. Yep.
Dan Anderson out there, Dad. Congratulations from Dan Anderson to
Thanks, Dan.
Dave. Don't worry, you'll get a Fast and Furious Day for a while now.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's go. Well, actually, we'll talk a little more. We got Billy Horschel up there. I actually had Billy Horschel in my DraftKings lineup last week. He's the guy who's hit or miss. He's on, when he's off, he's terrible and going to miss the cut. So it's either he makes the cut and he has a good round, or he misses the cut and nobody ever hears of him again. But and him and Scotty Schiffer, another guy who's up there, playing okay, 69, 70, 67, 68, steady round for Scotty, but it's good to see him up there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Just to kind of finalize the WGC here. So Concession, which where they had to move it to because of the COVID. This is in Mexico. This event at about 8,000 feet above sea level. Anyway, so I think the golf course is kind of one of the stars of this event because it's a 2006 built golf course in Bradenton, Florida. And you could tell by the green complexes that there were some big numbers made out there. And when you got the best, basically 100 players in the world making big numbers, it's a tough golf course. So they were saying during the coverage, and you agree, it had a very sort of Augusta-like feel to it, especially with the green complexes. And it really shined, really shined. I think you'll see, you'll see some events there moving forward. And tough golf course, very aesthetically pleasing. The green complexes, I think, gave those guys a lot of trouble. So,
yep. And to finish up with the WGC, we'll roll through a couple guys. Louis Oosthuizen up there, Rory McIlroy. It's good to see him up there, tied for 6th. You talk about Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson, I'll tell you, the last couple of years have been disappointing to Webb. Thought he'd been a little bit better playing the way he is. He's a little underrated. Now I see why. He really hasn't kept that level at the top. He's more of a mid-range player, more like I guess a between 8 and 16 guy, which isn't bad on the tour. But Jason Kokrak, Patrick Reed, Cameron Smith, Kevin Na, and Matthew Fitzpatrick. And then actually Tony Finau in there too. So it's good to see Tony in there too. What do you think of Tony Finau this year? Think he's going to have a decent year?
He's having a phenomenal year. The problem is just he hasn't won. That's the only, and you say, well, isn't it about winning? Well, it is. He's making a lot of money. And he's having a fantastic year. I mean, he's a top 10 machine. Does he break through and win an event this year? 100%. 100%. Yeah.
So moving on to the one this week, the 2021 Arnold Palmer Invitational Bay Hill. We're going to talk about the field. Classic event. I mean, you talk about Arnold Palmer, the great guy he was, great guy that, hosted this event all the time and just class act to the sport of the PGA. So, he's been gone, I think, 3 years now. I think it's the 3rd year he's been gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't match up to obviously the Masters, but it's a really, really solid event on the tour. Do you want to say a little bit about the course? Because I love the course.
Yeah, well, so
your background on the courses. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was lucky enough. I was able to meet Arnold Palmer. We played our golf course about 15 years ago, and came in and he was I guess he was probably about 75 years old at the time, maybe 70 anyway. He came in and looked like Popeye and shook your hand. He was strong as a bull and looked you dead in the eye and it was great. I mean, everything you hear about him being a gentleman and shaking hands and kissing babies and signing everybody's event, 100% true. So I'll throw that in there. He's great for the game, was great for the game, will be great for the game. As far as Bay Hill, 7,400-yard golf course. It's a big boy golf course. You're going to see some of the bigger hitters, I think, are going to rise to the top of the leaderboard. As far as sort of the events, so it's an invitational, and it's one of the 3 invitationals on the tour schedule. That the Genesis Invitational, ironically hosted by Tiger. This one was by Arnold Palmer, and then Muirfield, hosted by Jack Nicklaus. So the stakes are up a little bit. The prize money's up. And you get actually a 3-year exemption as far as instead of the year exemption for one of the events. So world ranking points are up, all the above. So this is your, they say the Players, which is the week after is the 5th major. These are your 6th, 7th, and 8th, majors on tour. So big time events, big European contention because they flew over for the WCGC last week, obviously playing this week, and then for the Players Championship next week.
So you look at some of the odds I have up there. Rory McIlroy is a favorite, 9-1. Bryson DeChambeau always getting love anymore, 12-1. Victor Hovland, 12-1. Tyrrell Hatton, 16-1. Patrick Reed, 20-1. Sung Jong 22-1. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 25-1, and Jordan Spieth, who is 28-1, which I will say must have heard me say last year that he wasn't playing that well and this and that, because he's really stuck it up my behind this year. He's really playing well. He's getting back to the old Jordan Spieth that we know. Putting's still a little bit shaky, but in the same sense, he's really, really hitting the ball well and doing some good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. We just going to look at the comment board here. Don't sleep on Sam Burns, John Suggs.
Yeah.
Also, right, the misdemeanor. Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen.
Yeah. We could put this up. Like it was, sorry to cut off. We could put this up real quick, get rid of this too. Do you think it's ridiculous for the Sheriff's Department issues with the warrant for Tiger Woods' black box when they said it was an accident, man's career is over long, and if he was speeding, no brakes applied, misdemeanor ticket? Well, See, you could say it's ridiculous, but I think he's doing his job. He's got to reenact the accident, and from their standpoint, they got to find out what happened. It's just, they were talking about, it could be a crime, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a general statement. In all these cases like that, you got to go through the ins and outs and what really happened. And, did he slide, or was the road a problem? Was the sunlight, whatever it was, they're just trying to get to the bottom of what happened. And I just think it's odd that black box hasn't gotten, a guy like Tiger Woods, you figured to take it out that day or the next day. Here it is a week, and they got to put out a subpoena and a warrant to get the black box. It gets kind of odd. So
Sure. Absolutely.
But John Suggs, don't sleep on Sam Burns. Sam Burns has quietly had a nice year. So you don't hear a lot of them, but it is what it is. So John Suggs also says Jordan Spieth is a favorite. IMO sleeper Hideki Matsuyama. I agree. I like Matsuyama today in the tournament. We're going to give our picks
28-1.
Yep, I'll give our picks in a little bit, but but do you think Matsuyama is the kind of guy that can win one of these tournaments again, or is it he kind of stuck in that that 2 to 6 range? Because it seems like he gets to the last day sometimes and really kind of struggles to either hang on or move up to catch somebody.
Yeah, he's again a guy that you would think would win a lot more. That's he always puts himself in contention. But the guy's won in about 2 years on tour, and he's a top 10, top 15 guy in the world, or should be. I don't know where he sits right now, but he's a guy that I would say is underachieving, and he needs to, or that for that matter, I think needs to play better on round 4. And he's been there, he's done that, he's won tour events, but underperforms in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So. Man, I'll tell you, Dave, the time is just flying by. We're gonna give our picks for the Invitational called the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So I'll leave it to dear Dad over here. So I'll let you go first. We'll give 3 picks, and then we'll give our number 1 guy, and you can throw in a sleeper if you want as well. So
okay, absolutely. So
and these are guys are going to go in the top 20. So roundabout.
Okay, yeah, I got you. All right, so I'll say I'm going to start with my kind of middle of the road guy. It's a very, again, European tour, heavy field. They've been European has won it the last, I think, 5 years. A guy who is on the top of the punting stats, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and he's 4th in kind of power rankings. Not necessarily a sleeper per se, but a guy you don't really hear too much about. Top 10 last week at the WGC. Played ball at the Genesis Invitational. I think a top 10 there as well. So Matthew Fitzpatrick on the boards. And this is, you're going to love this one, Mike. This is right up your alley. Will Zalatoris, who played at the WGC.
There you go. I finally got you on board. Very nice.
I was going to say, I didn't even know you brought him up on a show about 6 months ago. I said, who the hell are you talking about? And the guy is, he played at Wake Forest and kind of worked his way up the chain. When I say up the ladder on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I think won 3 times automatic promotion to the, to the Big Boy Tour, and has taken advantage of it. And just a guy that I could,
he's made like 22 out of 22 cuts. It's ridiculous how many cuts he's made. He didn't miss a cut on the Corn Ferry Tour, which is unbelievable.
Right. Right. So he's again, I put him a top 10. I don't think he's ready to win the event yet, but I put him in his top 10. And then, my horses for courses here. So I'll go Bryson DeChambeau. This is a big boy course, 7,400 yards. The wind blows a little bit. Again, -4 won it last year. It is a tough golf course. Bryson DeChambeau been playing okay. He obviously won was a big favorite going to the U.S. Open, and has sort of been playing okay since then. But it's his time. So Bryson DeChambeau, again, he's the second favorite in the event. So we're not pulling for strings here, but he's ready to go. So those are my 3 picks.
Okay. Who do you have? And you have Bryson winning the event.
I do. I'm sorry. Bryson's my winner. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you a dark horse. So I'm going to throw the first one out there as my old reliable Harris English, 45-1. I think Harris is a guy that, when he's on, he's on. And when he's off, he hasn't really stumbled out of contention. He's missed a cut this year, but that's it. He's missed 1 cut in the events he's played. He's played in 7 events. So there's a guy I think can get into the top 15 and give you a little something. The next one I'm going to take is Hideki Matsuyama. I think he's a guy that's going to get up there. And again, struggles on day 4, but definitely a guy that can get up to the top 10 if he starts out the first day good. That's going to be a big thing for him. If he starts off good, you're going to see he's going to flow right up there. My guy to win it might be a little bit off kilter. Not going Rory, not going your boy Bryson, not even going Victor Hovland. I'm going Sung Byung In. I think he had a really good year last year, and this is a guy that can get it done. He's definitely got the tools, and he's been close once or twice this year. He hasn't really had the year he started off with last year, but I think this is a really good event to get himself back into the flow of things and and make some noise, and I think he can get to the top. And my sleeper pick, maybe not to win the whole thing, but I'm going to say top 3. I'm going to say that Max Homa. I think here's a guy. If you look at the scores every week, here's a guy who's been in the top 15 every single week consistently. Hasn't missed a cut yet. He's been in 8 events. He hasn't missed a cut yet. And like I said, top 15 every week proves to me that he's got the tools to get there. I don't know if he can win the event, but he could definitely, get up into the top 3 or top 4 in an event like this, because Max Homa can bring the fire and hit some balls down the fairway. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, and great Twitter follow.
Yeah,
Max Homa. Great Twitter follow.
I follow him. He's great. So, Dave, just like that, it's another half hour in the books, and so we welcome us back. I mean, we'd love to be back, love to be talking golf again. I know it was patiently waiting Dave's arrival of his son, and now he's here, and now the sleep goes away, but everything else is good. So, we will be back next week. I believe next week, or. So we got the should be good because we got it's kind of week to week at this point, but we have the Players Championship, and then John Suggs, just want to give him a shout out here, Hovland and Jason Day, top 5 to 10 finish. Love the Hovland pick, and Jason Day is due, so he played well in the WGC top 15 last week. So you can't go wrong.
John Suggs, you
can't go wrong with Hovland. No. I will say you won't see any of this week without Justin Thomas there.
Justin Thomas, after his excellent approach shot, ran all the way toward the back of the green for birdie.
Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, I missed Justin Thomas this week with that. I missed that cut. You weren't here, Dave. I missed that cut.
I know. Yeah, it is the best. Yeah, I can watch it about 1,000 times.
Yeah, I gotta get the shortened version from Brian. So we gotta get that one on there. So we want to thank you for watching, teeing off again. Glad to be back. Glad to be rolling again. Glad everything's back to normal again. Well, not in the real world, but here at least. Thank our boys out, CrowdPlay. Make sure you're signing up with the box for 10 free points, and make sure you stop off at Showcase Sports in Hamilton for the elite athlete. Go over there, check them out. They have a lot for you. Dave, welcome back. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me as always. It's good to be back.
Yep, it's good to know we will be back next week. So make sure you're watching us. I'm assuming we'll be at the 8 o'clock time slot, unless something changes. We will let you know. But 8 o'clock next Wednesday, we will be here. For myself, Hamilton Michaeletta, and Dave Cartwright. This is the Teeing Off crew. We'll see you next week, folks. Have a good night. And I did the wrong one.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at SportsBox Show, Twitter at SportsBox Show, Instagram at The SportsBox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thanks for joining us this evening.